Alrighty, guys. We are going to be reacting to some big changes for Pokemon. It's a YouTube video by A Drive. We've watched a lot of their good content. Make sure you guys are subscribed to them on YouTube. But it looks like they're leaking some really big changes for Pokemon, and also some leaks for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let's get into it, guys.
We've got some incredible leaks for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet today. You do not want to miss this video. One of the biggest leaks of all time could be coming to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is nuts. Okay, so I'm not kidding when I say that this is a really big deal if it turns out to be true, and it's all coming from RIDDLER, who has been our very much so inside source in terms of what they're saying. So this is crazy stuff, and we're gonna get to it in this video. First thing, we're gonna talk about the starters. He puts out a little teaser, a little bit of information regarding what we can see about these starter final evolutions. They've been translated and decoded, and the gist of it is that Sprigatito is like a psychedelic masquerade cat. Psychedelic could also mean like magic or magician. So again, we know further
magic or magician.
Sprigatito is going to be this magical cat, kind of like Delphox probably, but it's going to be dark typing. Then we've got our Fuecoco evolution,
dark grass
which is
type.
translated
Interesting.
to Jazz Crocodile. We know that this Pokemon, this new evolution of Fuecoco, is going to have some sort of like bird or phoenix on its head that hatches from an egg in its second stage, and it has a little bit of a musical theme to it. So that'll be really interesting because I can't envision that without it being super cheesy, so I'm not really sure. And then last but not least, Quaxly's evolution becoming the Carnival Lead Duck. So much
Carnival Lead Duck for Quaxly
and kind of that vibe, I guess you could say. So that's what we've got here for the starters. That's what we've got for the starters. Some pretty interesting stuff. For me, I'm still Team Fuecoco. You know, I'm still waiting to see how it's all going to play out.
I want to see Fuecoco too.
You want to see most, or you're excited.
I know you guys are going to be choosing my starter on the day. We'll be doing a poll,
pretty soon,
and you guys get to choose what starter I choose. But I do kind of want Fuecoco.
That could be a big kind of decision maker.
Hopefully, someone will trade me a Fuecoco.
However, middle stage starters could also look super awkward. I'm a big Quilladin fan, but most people don't like it that much. I think Braixen looks cooler than
Delphox. I'll catch a Lucario too, AJ. You know it.
So we can't really get too caught up in that, but very interesting stuff nonetheless. We've got a little bit of a story leak here. It's not too big of a deal, so if you're like not a story spoiler person, I don't think this is that big of a deal in terms of like ruining the story for you, but it's an interesting thing. He goes on to say that one gym was closed down before the story started. Guess which type stunk? I don't know what he's trying to say.
That is true, Obi. That is true. We'll be getting all three.
Ruins on the map. So one of the Elite Four members stepped down and regained the title of gym leader. No wonder their gym locations are close. So there are two gyms that are very, very close to each other in kind of the tundra area of the map, in the very kind of
the ice and ghost gym, right?
There's two gyms that are right next to each other. They're right on top of each other.
First one's ghost, second one's ice.
The RIDDLER is alluding to, but some interesting story stuff here that there was a gym that closed down. I'm sure it'll be part of the story. And then one of the Elite Four members is like, all right, I'll take over the gym for now, and we'll see how this all kind of plays out. So very interesting stuff. Again,
so an Elite Four member's running a gym?
It could be the ghost type gym. That's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the ghost.
Ice type gym is probably up there. So what's the one near the ice type?
Haha, loading death. Nah, that's not me. That's A Drive, bro.
That'll be
great YouTuber.
To kind of see how it all plays. Okay. The RIDDLER says DLC has some cool features, but you have no chance to know them in advance. I'll reveal a little bit. PK Hex-like features. Don't miss it. I can't wait for early game leakers to post pics of 3 new Pokemon that will not be in the base game of Scarlet and Violet. That could be in reference to Suicune and Virizion Paradox forms and them being leaked because they're supposed to be in DLC, but they're not. But the biggest thing here is the PK Hex-like features. This could be the biggest leap forward for the Pokemon franchise from a competitive perspective that we've ever seen. So for those who don't know what PK Hex is basically a hex, I believe a hexadecimal editor of Pokemon. So when you have a Pokemon, it's basically a data file, and you can translate that onto your computer essentially if you have the right hacking tools and stuff like that. And then you can open this program PK Hex and you can edit the values of this Pokemon. You can change, you know, its gender, you can change its IVs for its attack, you can change its moveset. And you can do this legally or illegally, and the game will decide whether or not it fits within the parameters or constructs that it defines in the game. But what people generally do is, let's say they need a competitive, you know, perfect IV Moltres with 0 speed or whatever, or Stakataka, let's say, with 0 speed. They would catch the Stakataka, they would put it into PK Hex, they would edit the IV value for the speed stat to be what they want, and then they would put it back in their game, and nobody would really know any different. Except for the fact that we kind of do, because we have someone in the community, Pokedex, who likes to expose these competitive players for using illegitimate teams. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not here to discuss the
Oh wow,
legitimacy of
people are
competing in Pokemon.
literally
I'm here to
altering
discuss
their
the fact that this could
Pokemon
be
in
the
tournament
biggest leap forward
competitive
for the
play.
competitive franchise
What?
ever. This idea that you will be able to customize your Pokemon in-game without having to do the IV training.
That's kind of cheap, isn't it?
Or the bottle capping at level 100, or the, you know, all these different factors that come into play that are very time-consuming. They're very expensive in-game. And listen, I've done it. I've competed. I'm someone who can legitimately sit here and tell you that when I competed, I used legitimate Pokemon. I used shinies that were caught on stream. I remember actually competing with a 13 speed IV shiny Bronzong just because I wanted to use a shiny Bronzong, despite the fact that I was at a competitive disadvantage.
Alrighty. Good luck, guys. We have a Maractus that just spawned in chat. Trade Tier Seed is a grass-type Pokemon, and its total base stats are 461. If you're trying to catch it, trainers recommend that you use a Pokeball. Good luck, guys. You have 60 seconds left to catch it.
From using a 0-speed Bronzong, especially since I was using Trick Room and Gyro Ball on that exact set, thus making it even less useful than it would have otherwise been. So, again, I'm not here to discuss how people play the game. I don't care about that. But I do care about the fact that this could be so big. The ability, the fact that you're allowing players with limited time to be able to get into it. I've never felt that competitive Pokemon should be about preparing the Pokemon. It should be about the battle itself. That's how I see it. So if Pokemon were to give players all of the tools that they need to be able to compete at the highest level without the time investment to do it, the entry level, the barriers to entry for competitive Pokemon would be removed, or at least reduced drastically for many people. And I think it could be a huge catalyst and proponent in growing the competitive scene for VGC, which is something that I care a lot about. I mean, I don't compete anymore, but I did at one point. I was doing the circuit, and I actually had a great time. It was really fun meeting people and competing, and I'm a competitive person, so I really enjoyed that. And I think that if this is true, which I have no reason to doubt it, considering who it's coming from, the Riddler coup, this is big. This is, I cannot understate or overstate how
people altering their Pokemon. That's not right.
Huge. And then from there, we've got a couple tips from the Riddler saying, adventure tip number 1, keep an eye on the picnic features. They'll provide valuable buffs. I think we kind of figured that out, right?
Congrats everyone that caught it.
Be in battle, or much like the refresh kind of functionality where your Pokemon will dodge attacks and stuff. I'm not a big fan of it, but I get it in the lore of the game. And then tip number 2 says, some 3-stage new lines are hard to use in the adventure. Better catch the ones you're familiar with.
What's going on, Milk?
And then some Chinese characters is...
So basically, it looks like people in competitive Pokemon are using this program to alter their IVs and EVs and all that stuff. So instead of actually catching a special Pokemon and then, you know, EV training it, people are using these programs and altering their Pokemon and stuff like that. So apparently someone is like exposing a lot of players in the competitive Pokemon scene who are using special tools like this and like getting a competitive advantage. And Drippy says it's pretty expensive. Yeah, that shouldn't be illegal, right? It shouldn't be illegal at all to alter your Pokemon like that. Like, it's pretty messed up. So I guess a lot of people in the competitive Pokemon scene are pretty upset about it.
Better catch the ones you're familiar with. By the way, and then some Chinese characters is good. So I'm not sure what the Chinese characters
it kills the whole purpose of catching the mass catching a certain Pokemon.
But some other things that come off of this that I think are worth noting. Someone said, is Smoliv evolution strong? He says so. So he doesn't like confirm Smoliv.
Yeah, there's always going to be people that do that, huh? It's sad.
But just saying, hey, you might have a harder time using some of these 3-stagers just because, you know, you might not get to them at any point in time in the main game or whatever it is. So just worth mentioning there. But that's kind of the tips there from him, the picnic stuff, that. But again, this video was really about the PK Hex-like feature. I mean, this could be monumental, guys. I cannot express enough how big this could be for competitive Pokemon and just people who want to play the game, for sure. So that's it for today. I do think that
apparently there is a way to detect it.
Week or so, there's someone swirling around saying the game is going to leak at this point. I don't believe that personally. I think we're still a few weeks away from the actual game leaking, so I wouldn't hold your breath on that.
It'd be nice to see some game leakage.
Some Team Shiny merch over at teamshiny.com.
Let's go.